Thank you guys for joining me today. Unafraid, right or wrong, it is Monday. It is Monday, November 27th. We got it popping today. Okay, first of all, just to start, what the hell happened this weekend? What the hell happened on Sunday? I mean, all hell broke loose. I thought Saturday was a crazy night. We had the college football playoff getting turned upside down, Alabama losing, had Ohio State winning. Everybody's wondering all these scenarios. We are going to cover those today. But also, Sunday got crazier. Tennessee went to go hire Greg Schiano. The internet broke loose. Everybody weighed in, from Sarah Huckabee Sanders all the way down to Albert Haynesworth, about the Tennessee coaching job. Their coaching jobs are open all over in the country this year, and it is phenomenal because as many people who are unhappy with their coaches, as many teams that are unhappy with their coaches, there are so many coaching jobs open that they're going to have to be filled by people who just got fired. I mean, like, how crazy is that you want your coaching job filled by somebody who just got fired that somebody else didn't really like? So we got the coaching carousel, we got Greg Schiano, and we got the NCAA Playoff Scenarios. But before we even get started with any of that, there is something else that happened this weekend that I must address. Did anybody see the Denver Broncos versus the Oakland Raiders yesterday? That fight that happened? Okay. Now, I don't care about the fight. It's the reason why the fight happened that had me all up in arms. Because Crabtree, who's a wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders, he wears a gold chain, silver chain, whatever the hell it is, under his shoulder pads. And then last year when they were playing the Broncos, Aqib Talib, their cornerback, ripped his gold chain off. Ripped his damn gold chain off on purpose, not accidentally in a tackle, but on purpose. And then yesterday, apparently, he did it again, and Crabtree went crazy. And people were upset with Crabtree. I'm like, no, this dude is lucky he still has fingers. I would have broken every single one of his fingers. I would have tried to, like, rip him from limb to limb. I mean, is there anything more disrespectful than literally trying to snatch somebody's chain? Is there? Because I can't think of too much. My son wears a gold chain. Anybody that's seen my son play football, baseball, so I got him a gold chain a couple years ago for his birthday. And I'm just thinking, if I saw my son get his gold chain ripped and he didn't do anything, oh my God, he's got hell to pay when he gets home. He's got hell to pay. I don't care if he gets suspended from school. I don't care what happens. Under no circumstances do you let anybody snatch your chain. I mean, it was just so flagrant. Like, I got mad thinking about it, like it happened to me. The man literally had the audacity, the cojones to snatch this man's chain. I mean, I don't. Okay, like somebody who maybe doesn't. It's not even about the jury. It's just the point of it. Like, imagine if you pick up a plate of food and somebody just literally comes up and smacks it out of your hand. It's like the equivalent of that. Like, that's how pissed off that you would be. Oh, man, I was okay. But I just had to address that just because I wasn't going to let the weekend go by and not talk about what happened, him knocking them the thing out of him snatching Crabtree's gold chain. I wouldn't suspend Crabtree. I would suspend Aqib Talib if I'm the league, because there's no way that you can expect the man to react civilly when somebody does something like that to him. You guys, thank you for joining me today. Please share the feed, continue the conversation. The other thing that happened this weekend, before we get into all the crazy stuff that happened in college football and pro football and all that, is Meghan Markle got engaged to Prince Harry. I mean, like, I don't think that you guys, I mean, well, I know you guys realize it's a big story, but truth be told, I cannot believe this. Like, so I started watching Suits. I don't know if you guys watch Suits, but Meghan Markle is on Suits, and she's an actress. The part that's interesting about her being engaged to Prince Harry is she's black. Like, she's her mom is black, dad is white, so she's a biracial person. But Then she's marrying into the royal family. I'm just a little bit concerned about her because the last person who tried this was Princess Diana when she was dating Dodi Fayed, and that didn't end up well for her because they didn't like that. I wonder how the black girl's going to go over in the royal family. We'll see how that plays out, but it was news. I know you guys are talking about it, so I had to bring it up as well. Now let's get down to business. So if you guys thought that Chip Kelly, his hiring at UCLA got everybody all ruffled up, got everybody all excited, then you missed what happened yesterday with Greg Schiano. Greg Schiano was introduced as Tennessee's, well, reports started to leak out that he was going to be Tennessee's new head football coach, the Tennessee Volunteers. Mind you, they've been a train wreck for the last 10 years probably. And if you look at their record, their last game played against every team in the SEC, they've lost every single game against the last opponent that they played in. I mean, the last time they played, each opponent is a loss, which is phenomenal. Like, that's hard to do. And when you look at, like, Greg Schiano and how this all happened. So it was all cool and fun and games at first, right? Because they were courting John Gruden. Everybody wants John Gruden. John Gruden's going to Tennessee. No, he just flirted with you. He just girl batted his eyes at you. It was like, oh yeah, she wants me. Nah, she didn't really want you like that. She didn't really want Tennessee. He didn't really want Tennessee like that. So Greg Schiano. Nobody was checking for Greg Schiano. He was the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, formerly of the Miami Dolphins, and like nobody was checking for him. Like it wasn't like he was Chip Kelly where he was going to get hired from up underneath your feet. No, nobody was checking for Greg Schiano like that. And Tennessee went and hired him just in a panic move. And that set the world on fire. The reason why it set the world on fire is because Greg Schiano was at Penn State when this whole Jerry Sandusky, Joe Paterno thing happened. With the allegations against the kids, with the sexual assault, rape, whatever you want to call it, all that. And somebody testified. Oh, it was McQuarrie. He testified and said that that somebody told him that Greg Schiano knew about what was going on at Penn State. So Query said that somebody told him that Greg Schiano told them that he saw Jerry Sandusky doing something with a kid. So mind you, that is circumstantial evidence, but in the kangaroo court that is Twitter right now, that is enough to convict you. And granted, I know that these allegations and these rumors and all this stuff are damaging. But here's the real reason why Tennessee should have been upset about the Greg Schiano hiring. Because he's the complete opposite of a player's coach. When he was in Tampa Bay, he was accused of leaking information about Josh Freeman's enrollment in a substance abuse program, rigged the vote to strip him of his captaincy. And then, like, when players would be taking a knee, he would be taking shots, like have his players taking shots at the other team. You already lost the game, but now you want to play harder, take shots? This dude is a taskmaster, a tyrant, and why Tennessee went to go hire him is idiotic to begin with. I'm not going to convict a man on sexual assault allegations, but I think that it's crazy, though, that you had Clay Travis, who is probably obviously the most powerful man in Tennessee at this point in time. You had Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who everybody knows is in the White House right now. She spoke out about it on Facebook. You had people from their House of Representatives on both sides of the aisle speaking out about Greg Schiano. You have never, ever, ever seen this. And I'm telling you, you are coming up on a scary time if you are a person who is accused of anything, regardless of whether you're guilt or innocence, because this stays with you forever. Because there used to be a point in time when you could go away for a while and these things wouldn't follow you forever. Oh no, those days are over. People, the internet never forgets, and the mob never forgets. But one of the things I find interesting about this, though, is that you see that sports and fan bases trump actual morals. They do. Because when you look at this whole Tennessee hiring, the only reason why Clay Travis and some of these other people got upset and started bringing up all this stuff about Greg Schiano, it's not because they care about kids so much. It's not because they love kids so much. No, the truth is that they didn't think that Greg Schiano was going to win football games. Because if Greg Schiano could win football games, he would be the head coach at Tennessee. They didn't believe it, though. If they thought that he was going to bring him a national championship, yes, Greg Schiano would be hired. He would be hired in an instant. But the thing is, he was a loser NFL coach. At Rutgers, to be fair, he brought the program back and got them to some relevancy. But he didn't do anything like overwhelmingly special in his coaching career. He actually alienated players more than any coach that I've seen. And the fact that Urban Meyer brought him into Ohio State and kind of tried to rehabilitate his image, that was a good thing for Urban Meyer to do. But these things are staying with you from now on. And Tennessee has themselves in a trick bag. Let me explain to you why. Because when they announced him as the head coach, both parties signed what they call a memorandum of understanding. A memorandum of understanding. That's when two parties sign an agreement saying that they mutually agree on something. There it goes. So now Tennessee may actually owe Greg Schiano money. Could owe him the entire life of the contract or something, because guess what? If they don't pay him, they are getting sued. They're getting sued. And when you think about like the far-reaching implications of college football and just in general, when a man agreed to a job, they agreed to take him, signed a memorandum of understanding, and then let him go because Twitter got upset about an allegation that he denies that there's not any concrete proof about. Oh, yeah. Tennessee has not only did they screw up with hiring him, agreeing for him to be the head coach, they then doubled down and screwed up even further by the way they let him go, and they let the angry mob control it. That's crazy. Another angry mob over the weekend, though, was people who were upset about Chip Kelly going to UCLA. Yes, and I'm talking specifically about Oregon fans, USC fans, Philadelphia Eagle fans, all these people that were upset about Chip Kelly going to UCLA because they're worried about, oh, how's this going to affect our recruiting? How is this going to affect our program? This is sad. This is terrible. This is horrible. Listen, I will tell you this. One thing I've learned in life more than anything is that what unsuccessful people do is they're trying to worry about what other people are doing. They're too busy trying to worry about what everybody else in the world is doing instead of handling their own business. Oh, my God. Same thing. I mean, when you look at what Chip Kelly has done and how he's reacted to this whole and how the Oregon fans in particular, I'm talking to some of these people, so if you know Oregon fans, you can tell them this. They're worried about Chip Kelly leave. Well, they're worried about Chip Kelly being hired. Worried about Willie Taggart leaving. Worried about Jim Leavitt, the defensive coordinator, leaving. Truth be told, I want him to stay. But when you're so worried about people leaving your program, guess what? You can't enjoy what you have. And when you publicly talk about it, and when you publicly say, oh, the coach is going to leave, Willie Taggart's going to go to Florida. Guess what? You're actually diminishing your program because you're saying that these other places are better, so they're going to leave. What kind of sense does that make? You've actually devalued your own commodity. Makes no sense. But now we're going to get to the coaching carousel that is going on. You guys share the feed, like the feed now. So you got Kevin Sumlin, who got fired at Texas A&M. He may be going to Arizona State, maybe going to Tennessee, or maybe switching spots with Jimbo Fisher at Florida State. How insane is that? That you could potentially have Jimbo Fisher from Florida State go to Texas A&M. Mind you, Florida State, you would think, has a bigger name, but they don't have any facilities. They wouldn't give Jimbo Fisher money to hire his assistant coaches. This is what's going on. Because Florida State, truth be told, they've got a lot of shine knocked off of their program. They have. Like, Florida State is not what it used to be. It's not the glitz and the glamour and all that you used to see at Florida State. No way, no how. And the fact that they can't recruit, like, they're not going to be able to recruit on the same level because they don't. Because Florida State at this point in time is not doing the correct things. Like, if you can't pay your assistant coaches, you don't have top-notch facilities, kids are not going to want to come there. I mean, like, the last time that they had a real star there, I mean, it was Jameis Winston. Before that was like damn near Peter Warwick. That's the truth. And Texas A&M, they want Jimbo Fisher. He's a good coach. But here's the truth, is that Texas A&M thinks that they are something special and something good. They are. But the truth be told, they are only a second-tier program. They are the Arizona State of the SEC. They are a team that has a potential to be successful. They have the potential to move up. Potential to be a top-tier program. However, at this point in time, they are not. And that's what Texas A&M is. I know people be upset about that, but nobody wants to really be in College Station. That's the truth. The Tennessee job. How this has come full circle is crazy to me, because Tennessee may end up with Lane Kiffin again as its head coach. But if I'm Tennessee and I'm thinking about hiring Lane Kiffin, I am finding some language, some legal precedent to put in his contract that says if you leave, you cannot coach for 10 years. If you try to leave us like a thief in the night to go back to USC, to go to Alabama, to go to Texas, to go to wherever the hell else, anywhere else, you cannot coach for 10 years. Like, that's the only way. I give him whatever money that he needs to be okay with that. But he's a bigger, better deal guy. He'll leave you like a thief in the night. And Lane Kiffin's a really good offensive football coach, and Tennessee hasn't had any offense in forever. Forever. I was born in Memphis. I remember when Reggie White was there, lived next door to his parents. Well, sorry, lived next door to the other White's parents. I mean, come on now. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. Tennessee may end up back with Lane Kiffin. Oh, my God. Like, that would almost be comedy. How funny would that be? They would end up back with Lane Kiffin, who left them for dead. That's the last time that they've had a good football team. And he comes back to save the day. They might build a statue for him, but they would have to keep him away from all the co-eds on campus, though. I don't know if you want your head coach doing that. The last thing up for today, though, is the college football playoffs. The college football playoffs. You guys, pinned to my Twitter profile, at George Reister, there is the there is the college football playoff scenarios. The scenario for every single team to make the college football playoffs. I got it there. And when you looked at the AP top 25, which I clearly hate. I hate the coaches poll. I hate the AP poll, because it's like toxic. It is just, there is no innovation. There is no thought. It's just Clemson has a big name. Alabama has a big name. The truth, and Alabama came in this week ranked 5th in the AP poll after being ranked number 1 and losing to Auburn, losing to a 2-loss team and losing pretty badly. Lost by 2 scores. But this is the 5th best team in the country. I find that interesting. Miami fell from 2 to 7. And then you had teams back up. But the teams that didn't move, Georgia and the SEC teams, from the manipulation of their schedule with 8 conference games, more power to them, but it stinks and it sucks. So here are the potential. And, if you look at the article, I damn near had the top 25 right. Damn near had it pinpointed. I thought that they were going to move Auburn up one more spot to number 3, but they didn't. They snuck in Wisconsin right there. When you look at the SEC, it's clear from the Vegas odds about Alabama still has really good odds to win the college football playoff. That means that somebody somewhere either has insider information or they want your money. They want your bet. They want your bet now before the college football playoffs final rankings come out that Alabama's going to make it. They want your money, so Alabama's not making it. I'm telling you that right now. Because they need TCU to beat Oklahoma. They need Wisconsin to they need Ohio State to beat Wisconsin, because then they could probably justify maybe putting Alabama in because Ohio State got drowned by Iowa. And they need USC to lose to Stanford. Because it doesn't matter who wins the SEC or the ACC, the champion from those conferences are absolutely in, whether it's Miami or Clemson who wins the ACC. But while I say that, though, I will say that there is a way out world where the SEC conspiracy theories start coming out. While I believe the ACC is going to get in for sure if it's Clemson. And probably if it's Miami. Because if it's Miami sitting there with one loss to Pitt a week before, and then they beat Clemson, there's going to be a lot of people saying, yeah, Miami can't beat Alabama. Alabama's better. Look at their schedule. I'm telling you. Because Alabama's only played 2 good games. Mississippi State and LSU, who lost to Troy. I mean, let's keep it real. That's not exactly a murderer's row of schedule. And they lost to Auburn. I mean, come on. And Auburn, they need to win the SEC championship game. Georgia just needs to win the SEC championship game to get in the college football playoff. The Big 12. The Big 12 has 2 teams still alive. They got Oklahoma and TCU. Oklahoma obviously is going to get in for sure if they beat TCU, who's the 11th ranked team. Last week in the college football playoff. We'll see where they end up this week. TCU. They need Wisconsin to beat Ohio State. So that's one spot taken up. They need USC to lose to Stanford, the way there's no argument about another 2-loss team. They need Georgia to beat Auburn, the way Auburn has 3 losses and is completely knocked out. And then you can knock down Alabama some because you say, well, Alabama lost to Auburn, who got beat by Georgia. They're out right now. That's how TCU can get in, because they'd be sitting at 2 losses after beating a top 2 team, and the ACC champion does not affect them. Now the Big Ten. Big Ten has 2 teams still alive. That's Wisconsin and Ohio State. Wisconsin just needs to win. Much flack as there's been about their schedule and all this, if they beat Ohio State, they're in the college football playoff. No questions asked. You can't even doubt or compare or say anything about it. But Ohio State, here's where it gets tricky for them, because they need to beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. They need Stanford to beat USC. They need Oklahoma to beat TCU. And Georgia to beat Auburn. That way the teams that are in are Georgia, Oklahoma, and the ACC champion. And then they can compete with Alabama in terms of who should get in the playoff. Because I'll tell you this, if USC beats Stanford, because Stanford beat Notre Dame this week, Stanford's going to move up much higher in the college football playoff when it comes out. They're probably being 13, 12, 13 probably. USC beats them. And when you look at USC's strength of record, strength of schedule, their top 40 wins, they're all better than Ohio State. So USC might end up sliding in against Ohio State. So Ohio State better hope that USC loses. I'm telling you that right now, because if USC does not lose, Ohio State could be in trouble. The next conference up is the ACC. Winning you're in if you're Clemson. Miami may have some trouble. Like I said, if Alabama. If there's some shakeup in the committee and somebody gets on their soapbox talking about Miami, talking about Alabama's better, whatever. But truth be told, if the committee should hope that Miami wins, because granted, Clemson is a big name. They just won the national championship. But what TV ratings would go on if Miami gets in and they have that damn turnover chain? That thing is pure, solid TV ratings gold. You can't miss it. It's actually a real golden diamond chain. What's more Miami than that? Like, the NCAA is probably going to end up with them on probation just from kids wearing the gold chain. But it's interesting nonetheless. Last thing is the Pac-12, one team only alive. Stanford, even if they beat USC, are not getting in the top 4. But great job to David Shaw for pulling this team out of the toilet when people thought they were left for dead when they were 1-2 in the beginning of the season. They need to win the Pac-12 championship game. That's USC. They need to beat Stanford. Then they need a whole host of things to happen. They need Georgia to beat Auburn, the way that knocks down Alabama a little bit. They need Oklahoma to beat TCU, the way they're not competing against another 2-loss team. They need it doesn't matter what happens in the ACC game, Miami versus Clemson, because it has no impact on them. Because that loser will have 2 losses and they're out of there. The scenario for USC to get in the college football championship is getting more and more likely every single day. Need a couple not so likely things. I mean, a couple kind of likely things to happen, and they're going to get in. Because I think they should be in front of Ohio State. And here are the things that I believe from the college football playoff. More chaos is going to ensue. A clamor for the 8-team playoff is going to start happening. Because there's no way that you have 5 Power 5 conferences and they all shouldn't be in a playoff. Should be 8 teams, 5 Power 5 champions, and then 3 at-large bids. And one of those at-large bids this year should go to UCF. If they win their conference championship game. That's the truth. Number 3, Alabama misses the college football playoff. They're going to miss it. Number 4, either 2-loss Ohio State, USC, or TCU gets into the playoff. And number 5, either two of these three misses the playoff. Oklahoma, Clemson, or Wisconsin. You guys, thank you for joining me today. Unafraid, Reister or Wrong, George Reister here, the big homie. Send your emails, your comments, your questions for the Unafraid Show anonymous mail bag that is coming out on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, make sure you check it out. The best piece of reading you will do all weekend. Send your emails to unafraidshow@gmail.com. I will catch you guys later. Might catch you earlier than that today if something amazing happens. Peace out. See you later.